Thanks, Andrew. It's very interesting that if someone reads your CV and you actually cannot say anything about it. So that was an interesting experience. Thanks for sharing this platform and giving me the opportunity to speak about AMNOG, German regulation in the past and also in the future and most likely also in the present. You will see like lots of slides that will talk about the recent developments that we had in Germany over the last, let's say, 3 to 4 years, and what the outcome of that has been, and the impact on the pharma market in terms of discounts that companies had or needed to give for the products, because in Germany there's still free pricing. Before we begin with the presentation, I would like to raise a poll question. We came up with a question for you, and hopefully we can share the results later in the poll. Andrew, you can just tell the results or can give it to us. So if you can pull up the poll.
Great. Well, thank you. We certainly do have a poll question here displaying on the screens of attendees right now. And that question, what was the average price discount for a new drug in Germany in the last 3 years? And your options, of course, are less than 5%, 5 to 15%, 15 to 30%, or greater than 30%. And you can vote on this in real time by clicking on your screen right now, and I encourage you to do so. That question again, what was the average price discount for a new drug in Germany in the last 3 years? It looks as though most of you have voted. You can get your last clicks in because I'm going to be closing voting now and sharing the results with you. There we have it. 42% said 5 to 15%. Another 42% said that was 15 to 30%, while 11% of you said that it was greater than 30%, and just 5% of you said less than 5%. And with that, Dr. Mittendorf, I'll hand back the mic to you.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. So everybody, like I can say, in the room or in the web, so to say, has, I think, a very good feeling on what this process is all about. It's about getting discounts on prices and on drug prices in Germany. Hence, we don't see like that many votes for only discounts below 5%, which obviously was too low. I will give like the result later in the presentation. I have a slide on that because we extensively worked on prices in Germany and have a database that like plugs in every assessment that takes place, so it can give you the real numbers and also differences for different disease stages, and we'll give my comments later in the presentations. So what do we have on the agenda for today? First, I know that everybody is not on the same page with respect to AMNOG and German regulation, what it means to come to the German market. I will give a few basics with respect to that, because I also know that many of you have a very good and deep understanding of the German market and what the regulations are. So it's just a few basic slides, what's a general idea about the regulation in Germany looks like and what the aim of it is, and also what the metrics are. Then AMNOG 3.5 years and rolling. We enacted a new law in 2011 in Germany, and lots of products went through. We were close to 100 products that were assessed under the new AMNOG regulation, and we will. I will show you the results on the outcomes for those first 3.5 years in terms of discounts, but also in terms of maybe lessons and learnings that we have, what the critical paths and obstacles are in the AMNOG process, so you can learn for your own exercises and maybe share thoughts with your colleagues. And then at the end, AMNOG chances that are also in, and maybe also future developments, because we are right before a change of AMNOG, and new and other product areas will be pulled under AMNOG. There will be a different name, obviously, because it's a different regulation, but more products will be dragged into the process, and changes might be made to the existing AMNOG process as we speak. So where do we start? Regulation is not a German topic, as we all know. There are many markets that have a very influential HTA body. You can see them on the screen, maybe in the more darker blue tones. Sweden, Germany, France. They also have different attitudes and ways of looking at evidence and different processes, different regulations. Everybody invents their own procedure, as we know. And the Germans were very late in the process, but came up with a very stringent process with very, I can say, clear rules, but they might not be as clear for somebody from outside of Germany. And other countries are following. Some are more flexible, some are less flexible in the way they look at new products coming to market. And we obviously see a trend more to the economic buyer's side, going away from clinical buyers only looking at the clinical evidence, and that is due obviously to the economic crisis, to hard economic times in many countries, for example in Spain or in Italy, where the economics play a much more prominent role than they do in Germany, at least when you look at the process by itself and not ask for implicit things that play a role in the process and the regulation. Obviously, Germans are also interested in cost, so to a degree there will be economic buyers, but the process, the regulatory AMNOG process, is mainly concentrated on added clinical benefit, on patient-relevant endpoints, on mortality, morbidity, quality of life, and other things that are important to patients. And that is the learning that we had a few years ago in Germany. That once you start to talk about prices and costs in a public regulation, then health politicians, they don't like these discussions, especially not in Germany, and they shy away from coming up with thresholds and maximum costs to spend, because that's not very a very good message for voters out there, and of course they want to get reelected. So the clinical buyers and also patients are mostly clinical buyers, as you can see on the right-hand side. They will go more to the economic buyer side, and that is not something that is a surprise to us, I guess. So here, really, in a nutshell, German regulation, the AMNOG process, and there are only one or two more slides to the basic process, and then I would go over to results that we see after the first 3.5 years. So for those who already have a deep understanding of the process, stick with us. There will be more to come.